project management processes and knowledge areas. Basic process groups. Projects can be managed within 5 different basic process groups. The initiating process group, the planning process group, the executing process group, the monitoring and controlling process group, the closing process group. In the Pinbook Guide, further details on these process groups are defined in approximately 40 project management processes which describe more precisely project management processes. These processes will be further examined later in this chapter. In order to make a project succeed, it is important to thoroughly understand the meaning of these processes and process groups and, based on these ways of thinking, conduct the management and control for that project. The figure illustrates that, in the project example given earlier, the planning phase of that project could be described as yet another project in itself. That is, one can imagine that there are tiny projects inside the main project, making up the whole of that project. These 5 basic process groups are standard concepts and can therefore be applied to a wide range of project types, even to each individual phase. Next, we provide a brief overview of the 5 basic process groups that make up project management. 1. Initiating processes. Awareness of the existence of the project. Determine some things that the project should accomplish. Set the goals for the project. Clarify the general expectations of the client, upper management, and/or other stakeholders. Clarify the scope of the project. Select the initial members of the project team. 2. Planning processes. Refine and detail the project scope, keeping in mind a good balance of constraints, such as quality, time, and cost. Make a list of the work involved, tasks, activities, until the project reaches its goal. Prioritize activities to maximize work efficiency. Create a schedule and budget for allocating resources to the activities required for execution of the project. Obtain proper approval from stakeholders. 3. Executing processes. Lead the team. Interview team members. Communicate with the client and other stakeholders. Solve problems that may occur during the project. Allocate the resources required for completing the project: planning, money, personnel, items, time. 4. Monitoring and controlling processes. Be aware of diversions from the plan. Perform corrections to align the project to the plan. Accept and evaluate changes requested by stakeholders or team members. Modify the project's schedule if needed. Adjust the amount of resources if needed. Make changes such as trimming the project scope. Modify the project's goals and return to the planning process to obtain the approval of the stakeholders. 5. Closing processes. Confirm the results and final product of the project. Perform any actions to complete the work and disband the team. Summarize the lessons learned from this project's experience. Look back over the project processes and the results of each with the team members and stakeholders. Create a final report. Project management is executed via these 5 basic process groups. The initiating processes and closing processes are executed at the beginning and end of a project. However, the planning processes and executing processes are executed repeatedly throughout the project. The monitoring and controlling processes encapsulate the entire flow of the project at all times.